July 1944, we flew our first mission over Vienna, Austria. It was quite an experience, being up in the airplane, getting shot at all the time. All the flak bursts all around you, this and that stuff. Seeing a few planes go down, very frightening. Anyway, when we were over the target or somewhere along the line, flak burst came up and knocked out our hydraulic lines, so we couldn't lower our landing gears. We had to do it manually. 2 cranks on either side of the ear. Bomb bay, we had to get in there, and the engineer and the radio operator, I believe, did it. Put them down, made sure they were locked. And then we hooked up 2 parachutes on the waist guns. Had them all rigged up outside, so when the pilot was said, deploy the chutes, we were supposed to simultaneously pull the ripcords on the chutes so they would break us to a halt. But the pilot never called for them, so we bounced down and off the end of the runway into a great big ditch. Fortunately, nobody was hurt. We got out okay, no problem. We looked at the airplane after we were down there. It was canted way up in his nose. And we were surprised. We had an awful lot of holes in the ship, but thank goodness nobody was even touched. That was quite a reception for us, believe me, for our first mission. 2 days later, we went on the second mission to Budapest. No problem there. And we went to Genoa, bombing the seaport of Genoa up in northern Italy. And that was really fantastic. We went up over the sea, swung in above Genoa, and came down over land, pointing out towards the sea again. And then we dropped our bombs into the harbor area. Saw an awful lot of ships getting torn up and blown up, and fires. There must have been a couple of tankers there, or maybe an ammo ship, because the flames and smoke rose to around 3,000 feet. But we were well above that. But it was quite a sight. The next mission, we went to southern France on August 6th of 44. Our first target was around Toulon, but when we got there, the primary target had already been blasted, so we went on to the secondary target further into France, southern France. We bombed marshalling yards and bridges up that way. And coming back, we lost an engine. So the pilot, to be on the safe side, decided we better have a forced landing on the island of Corsica, which we did. We were there 4 hours or so till the engine was repaired. We took off again in the twilight with an extra 10 men on. We deposited them in Foggia, Italy, before we proceeded down to our base in Spinazzola. But on the way in over Italy, we flew over Rome, and it was just like the old ancient history books. You could look down in Rome, even though you had never been there, but you could see the Colosseum, St. Peter's Square, and all the sites, the old aqueducts, and this and that. Was very impressive to see it. We finally got back to Spinazzola around midnight. And we asked what was going on for the 7th. I said, yeah, I got a raid going, but don't worry about it. You're so late coming back, you never get any, won't get enough rest. They'll never call you. But lo and behold, about 3 o'clock in the morning, came around and shook us up. Boy, you're leaving. So we left. On the way out, we lost the cap of one of the gas tanks. The gasoline was pouring out of the right wing, down over the right wing, down over the inboard engine. We were afraid it might catch on fire. So we called the base. They told us to go to such and such an area and circle until everything was cleared off from the base. So we did, waiting with our parachutes on just in case it's caught on fire. We'd all be jumping out the airplane. So we landed with our full bomb load. We were met by a gas truck at the end of the runway. They filled us up with gas, put a new gas tank on, wired it down, turned us around. We took off. So we were headed for Bleckhammer, which was in southwest Germany. And on the way over the Aegean Sea toward our target over Yugoslavia, a P-38 with one engine out came up, sidled into us, and asked if he could fly cover for us back to the base. And the pilot said, no, we got to catch the formation. He said, the formation has already passed you 45 minutes ago. Our pilot said, don't worry, we'll catch him. Well, we caught him. We were all by ourselves all the way over there until we come to the R.I.P point, and then we finally straggle in on the end of the bomb run. We dropped our bombs, and over the target we lost 2 engines due to flak. So we were limping away from the target, heading our way back home, and the fighters jumped us. They made one pass. They set the gas tanks on fire. Pilot gave the abandoned ship. So we said, well, okay, time to go. Meantime, the communications to the back at least were gone, because I didn't know anything, and I'm watching this fighter. Up at 12 o'clock high, and one sneaks in from 6 o'clock low, and he waffles me in a 20 millimeter. Came through my plexiglass and safety glass, hit me on the chest in a flak suit. If it had exploded, you wouldn't be hearing this little report, but it didn't explode. But the force of it knocked me out of the turret, back into the back part of the airplane. I was laying on my back, and all I could see were flames. So I crawled over to the side, grabbed my parachute, crawled across the rear escape hatch, which I should have gone through, but I didn't. I saw the waist window. Nobody else was in the plane, in the back that I could see. So I rolled up to the window, crawled up to the window. In the meantime, I'm getting scorched. My hair's been all being burned off and this and that stuff. So I get up to the window, go to put my chute on. I have a chest pack. It won't work. Oh my goodness, what's wrong? I look down, I still have my flak suit on, so I pull the cord and the flak suit drops off. And I hook the chute on in front. I reach for the ripcord with my right hand. It's not there. Here I got to reverse, so I have to pull with my left hand. So he jumped out. He's supposed to say, count to 3, but I don't know if I counted to 3 or 1 or what. But anyway, I pulled the old chute and whack, it opened up. I floated down into a wheat field after I lit in the ground. I wrenched both my knees actually in landing, and took my chute and harness off and stuffed them under a shock of wheat. On the way down, I noticed this other parachute coming down. I didn't know at the time who it was, but it ended up was Danny Tylowski, the radio operator. So he had done the same thing to his chutes, put her under a shock of wheat, and then we ran towards each other. We met in the middle of this wheat field. He had a piece of flak through his left shoulder, so I'm trying to open up the first aid kit to put a compress on it to help staunch the bleeding. And with that, the German peasants come up and surrounded us. They had hay rakes, pitchforks, and clubs, no guns. Of course, we didn't carry sidearms. We were issued sidearms, but we never bothered to carry them when we flew missions. So we're walking up this path with a few peasants in front of us, a few on each side and a few in the back, the two of us. And over on the left, some guy hollered out, "Hey, I'm from Milwaukee. Where'd you hide your parachute?" We were quite amazed to hear English language spoken, and especially in that type of thing, looking for a parachute. I guess they wanted the nylon. So a home guard came down and they stopped us and they searched us to see if we had any contraband, which we didn't. They took us into this very little hamlet, just a couple of farmhouses and a rascaller there. And we get in there, our bombardiers there standing at the bar quaffing a huge stein of beer. But he was an officer, so he was allowed, but we didn't get any. We were enlisted men. And that began my sojourn as a prisoner of war. We were a prisoner from August the 7th of 44 until May the 2nd of 45. Couple of things that happened as a prisoner, we were at this, after they went to Dulag. First we went to Frankfurt. There they put you in solitary. We were there, I forget, I don't know how many days, 2 or 3 days. They tried to interrogate us, see if we knew anything, which we didn't, and this and that. Then they put us on a train. We went to Dulag Luf, and that's where they separated the officers from the enlisted men. The officers went to one camp and the enlisted went to other camps. So they put us on a train and we went down to St. Wendel, southwestern part of Germany, pretty close to the French border down that area. We were there roughly 3 weeks maybe. And the American lines are becoming too close. So they put us on boxcars and shipped us to the northeast Germany, up near the Polish corridor. There were 52 men and 7 guards in each boxcar. The 7 guards had the 1/3 of the boxcar, the 26 men and 1/3 and 26 men on the other third. It was kind of crowded. We finally got to camp. Stalag 4. And they were so crowded, we had to sleep in tents. So there were about 10 or 12 of us in this one tent. We'd zip it down at night because the Germans would patrol with their German Shepherd dogs. And dogs used to come sniffing around all the time. The sanitation in the tent was a big scrub bucket. And that's all it was. That's what we had to do. Take care of our needs. Of course, we had to draw straws in the morning to see who had to dump it and rinse it out so it wouldn't smell up the tent the next night. We were roughly in the tent, I guess, about a week, and then he opened up the other compound. This was an A lager. And we went to C lager. And there we were in Barracks 4, Room 4. 20 of us originally in a room, and it ended up before we left on February 6th. We ended up to 26 men in a room. We didn't have any. In fact, when we first went there, we had no beds at all because it really wasn't prepared, but we had so many POWs, they had to push us in anyway. So they finally made triple-decker beds for us. And that's where we stayed until February the 6th. But for New Year's, we decided in the room, there was only 20 of us at the time then. Out of the 20, I believe there were 14 of us shaved all our hair off our heads just to remember New Year's for 1945. We used to play pinochle, bridge, a lot. Every once in a while you get a book from the library, read that. But other than that, all we did was walk around the compound when the weather was feasible. Sometimes we got a lot of snow up there, a lot of cold winds, a lot of rain. And around Christmas time, one of the German guards barracks, they were having a party there, and somebody knocked over their stove. It's burnt the whole barracks down. So the next morning, the commandant told us, if any of you people do that to your barracks, you'll sleep right out here in the snow. Fortunately, nothing like that happened. On February 6th, they told us we were going to march out of our camp on foot, roughly 10 days to 2 weeks until we reached another prison camp. Well, we went out in a group of, roughly about 2,000 men, and I think they had about 3,000 guards, and they had all kind of guns. But most of these German guards at the time were either old men or convalescent soldiers from the battles. They'd been all shot up or coming out of the hospital. And they were our guards. Well, they were falling by the wayside quicker than we were at the time. So it ended up only one or two guards for every 100 men or something like that. But we were deep in the heart of Germany. There was no place to go, so we felt it was easier for us to stay together, be safer. So we used to pull off the side of roads to relieve ourselves, and we'd get into a small farming area, and they'd let us bunk down in the barns in the hay mows and this and that stuff. Of course, we weren't allowed to smoke or anything in there. We got very little food on the march, other than we were given a Red Cross food parcel when we left. Some guys ate it right up. Worst time was it 3 days somewhere along there in March, April maybe. We hadn't had any food, the three of us, even for two days. Finally, then we came along a barge that had some Red Cross food parcels on it, and the Germans gave us food parcels, so it helped sustain us for the rest of the way. And on May the 2nd, we were in this little village. We stopped there the night before, and we were in this barn. By this time, they kept chopping you up. I think there was only about 200 or 300 in this group that we were in when we were finally liberated. The Scottish division of the British Second Army had come across the Elbe River, and the Germans guards threw up their hands, surrendered to the British, and they in turn said, "You are free." So what do? Wait here for a truck or what? He said, "What have you been doing for the last couple of months?" "Walking." "Well, that's what you're going to do now. Walk to the next base. You got to get over the Elbe River." So we did. We walked down to this little town just at the edge of the Elbe River. But we got there in the evening, so we couldn't do anything there. They wouldn't let you go across the river. It was a pontoon bridge. They wouldn't let you go across. So we bedded down in some farmer's barn, the three of us. The next morning, we get up bright and early, went up to the British's mess tent. And they said, "We don't have any food for you guys. We don't have enough. Well, just give us a cup of tea." "Okay, I'll give you a cup of tea." So they gave us a cup of tea, and we took off. And we were very fortunate because most of the guys are still sacking out or waiting, didn't know what to do. But we figured, well, we want to get going. So we got to the Elbe River at the pontoon bridge. Along comes a German school bus with an English soldier. "What the hell are you guys doing?" "We got to get to Lüneburg." "That's where I'm going. Get on." So there were the three of us, and then about 12 other guys got on the bus, and zoom, we had a ride all the way into Lüneburg. And we heard later on that they held everybody up at the pontoon bridge until they had trucks for them. And it took a half a day for them to get there, where we were there within an hour and a half or 2 hours. Then we got into Lüneburg, and it was an old military school, and the English had taken it over. But the thing was, they had no hot water. They said the Germans had blown up the power plant, so we couldn't have any hot water. Well, we hadn't had I had one bath, and the whole time from February the 6th to May the 2nd, one bath. That's when we had that bath when we stopped at Fallingbosel on was Easter Saturday and Easter Sunday. We had a bath. We got there Easter Saturday. Sunday they gave us our showers, deloused our clothes, but all it did was put them to sleep for a couple of more days, and then they started biting again. So anyway, when we got to Lüneburg, we didn't have any hot water, so we took cold water showers. They didn't have any clothes, so we still had to put the same old clothes on. The other thing, they had powdered DDT, which they sprayed us all over with, our clothes and everything, so just to kind of keep the vermin down. We were there 2 nights, I guess, and they told us to go such and such a field, and airplanes would come in and they'd take us back. So we stood around this one field, and you're all sectioned off in numbers and groups. And this one night, we'd been here all day, so we were getting on this plane, this C-47, the old cargo plane, the one that did all the work for all the services, dropping supplies, paratroopers, things like that. The old workhorse of the Air Corps was the old C-47. We got on. They were English pilots, by the way, and they said, "Okay, everybody off." "Oh, what's this? What's going on?" "Well, the pilots haven't been home back to England for 2 weeks, so they want to take strictly English people back with them." Was quite a stink, but Englishmen. Since we were liberated by the Englishmen had the right to say what they wanted to do. So we were scheduled the very next morning to take off. And we were the first ones out in the morning. We flew into Brussels. It was May the 8th, VE Day, when we got to Brussels. There, they gave us hot showers, clean clothing. The only thing was, it was always British issue. So there we were, 3 American Air Corps men in British battle jackets, British battle pants, British clodhoppers, and berets. No insignia. We got a ride and went in the center of Brussels, and the whole town was going crazy. It was VE Day. What a tremendous ovation for everybody. Such a happy feeling for everybody. We stayed there for 2 days. They put us on a hospital train and sent us to Namur, Belgium. Then there we were turned over to the American authorities. And there we got rid of our English uniforms and were given American uniforms. There I met 3 guys from Oil City who had been picked up in the Kasserine Pass in North Africa back in '43. They had been prisoners of war also. And from Namur, Belgium, we got on another hospital train and went to Le Havre, France. This is the end of May. So we were at Camp Lucky Strike in Le Havre, France, outside Le Havre, France. And then on June 11th, we boarded a USS Admiral Benson, a troop ship. Went down the channel, headed across the Atlantic Ocean. We pulled into New York City. Only took us 5 days coming back. So we got off on a pier right beside the Queen Mary. We came off the boat. We got on a ferry boat and took us across the harbor to Jersey City. There we boarded a train and went into Fort Dix, New Jersey, June the 15th, 1945. We got on a bus and went to Philadelphia. I took the Paley Local out to Ardmore. Went to my sister's house. There I met Alan Downs. He was the only one home. My father, my mother, and my sister Billy were all out to a movie or something like that. Anyway, it was good to get back home. That was it. San Antonio, Texas. That's where I ended up when I was there waiting to be reassigned. Why, a directive came through with the Air Corps that anybody had been a POW and had at least 2 years in the service automatically got discharged. So that's how I got my discharge from the service on October 30th, 1945. So what I do, I got the train, went back to Chicago. Stayed there for 2 or 3 days. Then took a train, went to Philadelphia, Ardmore the rest of my life.